filming.
I don't care if you're doing filming. I've asked you not to film this building.
Yeah, but it was a little building.
I don't care.
It was a little...
Okay, they're on their way to see you now, right?
Well, what about my drone?
I don't care about your drone.
Yeah, but I've come
no
along...
permission to film this building.
I've come a long way on my bike.
I don't care.
I go round, I take like videos and drone footage, and then I put them on the World Wide Web.
Yeah, but you've had no permission to come onto this site, and you were filming on this site without permission.
No, I only come on the site to knock on the door, but I think you came out, didn't you?
But you've been videoing on this site without permission.
No,
right?
I came through.
I watched you.
No, but I came through.
I watched you.
But there was no barrier down. If there was a barrier down, I wouldn't have come in.
A barrier tells you it's a secure private premises, yeah?
But it wasn't.
The video begins with the auditor questioned for stepping near a property, yet he calmly explains he only walked up to knock, with no signs or barriers showing it was off limits. By UK law, simply entering land without clear notice doesn't instantly mean trespass, and even then it's usually a civil matter unless something serious is involved. With no attempt to hide and nothing blocking access, his actions were lawful yet. Instead of securing the site properly, the staff tried to push the blame onto him.
I'm not getting into it because the police, they just said they see you through the window and they're coming over to see you.
Yeah, but I'm only doing a little video.
I'm not interested, mate.
What's your name, sorry?
I didn't give my name.
What's your name?
I don't need to give you my name, do I?
Well, at the moment, we've been called. I don't know if you know anything about Concordia, but having had a chat to the manager here, it's quite a secure building, all right?
Yeah.
You're not allowed on there. That's come from him.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's politely asked you to move on and obviously stop recording because of the nature of the supplies and the goods within the site.
Arrive. They don't assess the situation, but repeat the staff's demand to stop filming. Instead of applying the law, the officer sides with the business, overlooking the fact that filming in public is legal unless specific restrictions apply.
Okay.
I know what the company is because I got it off the internet.
There we go. So in this situation, the best thing we can do is just ask you to move on. All right. Not record. Obviously from here, they're asking you not to do it. Right. At the moment, he's saying that in the building and the business itself, they do obviously supply quite high secure goods across the world on flights. And at the moment, it's just not appropriate. And obviously, that's where we are with it. Okay. Now, in terms of what we're going to do as police, is we're going to do the same. We're just going to ask you to politely move on, just to obviously prevent any breach of the peace, just to move on, go on your push bike and go and film a different place that is going to allow you to do that.
It's a troubling moment. The auditor is within his rights to film, yet the officer tells him to leave despite no law being broken. Rather than staying neutral, the police side with the business, treating the auditor as the problem and prioritizing convenience over rights.
Okay, and then it's just going to be end of sport. We will leave you to it. Okay, ultimately what we could potentially be facing is that if you're going to refuse to do that and allow for this business to move on with their day, we could be looking at other things then, couldn't we? Because what's happening here is this company now have had to send out managers and staff to obviously come and deal with yourself, and they're just kindly asking you, can you please stop filming?
But I'm doing photography in a public place. I'm allowed.
What they're saying is,
I'm allowed.
You by all means,
I'm allowed.
Go the other side of the road. Obviously.
That's what I said I was going to do. I said I'm going to be over there. Over there on that footpath.
You've asked to use their toilet. You're not allowed to do that.
No, I'm not going to.
You've asked to go in and have a tour. You're not allowed to do it, okay? There are rules in life that you have to follow.
No, I said to him,
for you to ask where the toilet is, if I can use the toilet, can I come in and have a tour? It's a no.
Officer escalates by ordering the auditor, already on public land, to move across the road with no legal basis. Her tone turns condescending, framing his lawful actions as a violation. Rather than staying neutral, she pressures him to leave, siding with the business to ease their discomfort.
All right.
No, I know you said no. That's no problem.
We're not going to get into it.
I'm not going to. I just asked him. I said, look, any chance I can use your toilet? He said, you must be joking. I said, fine. I said, as I'm here, would you like to give me a guided tour? I've got high vis. He said no. I'm happy with that. Right. But I just want to go on a public footpath and do my video and a little bit of drone footage.
He's not going to. He's not going to allow for the drone footage.
He doesn't own the airspace, officer.
But the problem is that as the manager, he's being quite respectful and polite to you, isn't he? And he's just saying, please sir, can you not do this, all right? Obviously, he knows a lot more than me and you about this company, all right? And he's saying that in the building itself, it's obviously quite a high secure place where they provide goods and materials to put on flights to travel, right?
If the officer repeats another false claim, saying the worker can block the drone, though private staff have no control over airspace unless marked as restricted by the Civil Aviation Authority, no business can dictate its use. The auditor points this out, while the officer also parrots a claim about the site being high security, yet with no barrier, no guards, and no posted rules. That claim falls apart. True security is enforced by clear measures, not improvised orders.
Allowed to photograph in a public area.
I'm not saying you're not allowed to photograph.
I'm allowed.
Go over there then.
That's what I said I'd do.
Make yourself sparse, obviously take photos and stuff.
Yeah.
But please don't go putting a drone up. We've got our headquarters there. That's our police headquarters. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No.
Right? That's our police headquarters there for Gwent Police.
But I'm not doing Gwent Police. I'm doing...
But obviously, as you can see, there's only a matter of metres between these buildings, okay? So Concordia, they're obviously quite a high secure building. We've got our premises there as Gwent Police.
But I'm allowed to do my drone footage. I'm allowed to do my drone footage.
UTHA officer tries to justify her demand by claiming the drone can't fly near police headquarters, but proximity alone doesn't create a no-fly zone. Real restrictions come from law, not vague warnings. By asking instead of enforcing, she shows there's no authority behind the claim. The auditor stands firm, reminding her his drone use is lawful and her objections lack legal basis.
They have different zones in the UK. They have like red zones and
I'm not
amber
a drone
zones.
officer, but I can certainly check with a drone officer if that's where we're going to get to. However, I feel that that's a little bit unnecessary for now. All right, and I think that what the best option here is just for you to obviously move on as you've been asked by a couple of people now. All right, just move on, get on with your day. And
this is my day. I'm allowed. I'm not being...
Like I said, just go across the way then, and obviously.
I was going to go across
across the way there. There's many other buildings on industrial estates that you can use. And you can photograph.
I will do them, but I was here, and what you're telling me is that because he don't like it,
it's not a case of him not liking it. He's the manager, isn't he? And what he's saying is that because of the nature of the materials and the goods that are inside of this building.
But it's not unlawful to do photography. It's just a public place.
It's again with that company. The company are asking you not to do.
The officer claims filming is barred because of sensitive materials inside, yet the auditor is on public ground where no privacy is expected. If anything needs protection, it's the company's duty to secure it, not the public's job to look away. As she struggles to defend this weak logic, her words falter, exposing that the aim isn't law enforcement, but appeasing the business.
Yeah, I'm allowed though.
Let's not be awkward.
No.
Let's not make things difficult because otherwise they're going to end up difficult, okay?
Why?
Well, because of obviously the sort of attitude that you're giving.
I'm not. All I'm doing is exercising my rights to film in a public area.
But like I've just said, the company are saying to you, you're not allowed to do it. Please don't do it because our business has things in there that we don't want publicised across the internet.
The officer's bias becomes clear when she delivers a veiled threat. Let's not make things difficult, or they'll get difficult. Asked why, she cites his attitude, though he remains calm, respectful, and lawful throughout. His only stance is refusing to yield to baseless claims. Rather than affirming that public filming is legal, she escalates with threats, punishing him for standing his ground.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm also exercising my rights, okay, lawful rights, as a citizen in England and Wales. I'm allowed to take photography in a public place unless...
Photography is different to drone though.
No, that's my first point. My second point is I'm allowed to put a drone up over any place unless it's in a flight restriction zone. And I've got a CAA app that tells me I'm allowed, and you're telling me I'm not. Now that's not law.
Contrast is clear. The auditor cites facts and law, while the officer leans on unsupported claims. UK drone rules allow flights in unrestricted zones under CAA guidance, and the CAA app confirms this in real time by insisting otherwise. The officer ignores the law and tries to substitute it with her own opinion.
If you stop me, if you prevent me from doing that...
You're completely confusing what I've said. What I've said to you is that business are asking you not to. All right? They don't want you doing it. So can you not just respect that and be, you know, respectful towards everybody involved here, and just please just take your photographs, but they just don't want to drone up, okay?
But I am being respectful. I mean, I'm not getting into an argument or any conflict with you guys, but I am allowed to put a drone up, and you're saying, well, be respectful to them and don't put one up. But I'm allowed, and it's my right. It's my right to put a drone up in a public area.
By now, the officer isn't enforcing law at all. She's reacting to feelings, treating the auditor as a problem simply for exercising his rights. This sends a troubling message that legality depends on who's upset. A fair officer would remind the business of public rights, not pressure a compliant citizen to back down.
No, it is. If you tell me, if you tell me if you're going to arrest me if I do it, then what I'll do, I won't do it. But I'll go to my lawyer because I'm allowed, and I know my rights, and the rights are that you're allowed. The law says that you're allowed to take photography, including drone footage, in a public place.
Okay, what's your surname, please?
What?
What's your surname, please?
I'm not giving my name.
You're going to refuse to give details now, are you?
Well, unless you threaten me with some sort of arrest.
I'm a police officer, sir. I don't threaten anyone.
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't threaten.
So you're not going to threaten me with arrest if I don't give you?
Certainly not a threaten.
Okay.
I can use laws and powers, but it's certainly not a threat.
But I've not done nothing wrong. I've got
Ultimately, what happened here is that the police have been called. Right? And I'm now having to deal with you as a person. Therefore, I'm asking for your name and date of birth.
Law doesn't require giving personal details just because an officer asks. ID can only be demanded in specific cases like lawful detention, a penalty notice, or antisocial behavior under Section 50. None of that applies here. By pressing for details without legal grounds, the officer isn't enforcing law, but using pressure and vague claims to intimidate.
Why?
Because you've been involved in a call that I'm actually dealing with.
Yeah, but I don't have to give it. What? I mean, I don't understand why.
So then, if you're not going to give details, then I would strongly advise for you to just move on. Because at the moment, you've got 3 units here that are obviously dealing with you. I don't know who you are.
Yeah, I know,
right?
but
I
I'm
need
just
to know who you are.
No, I'm a member of the public.
Yes, I appreciate that.
And I'm doing a lawful act. I'm doing photography and droning.
So why are you not, at the moment, you could be missing, you could even be wanted, right? And ultimately, as a police officer, we have the right to take you to custody, to identify who you are, if you do refuse to give details.
Claiming someone might be missing or wanted isn't a lawful reason to demand ID or detain in the UK. Police need reasonable suspicion of a crime or a clear duty to give details. Here, the officer invents powers she doesn't have, relying on pressure and empty threats instead of law. Detaining on vague chances would mean anyone could be held for nothing, showing this is about control.
You've been involved in a call, all right?
No, but you've
been involved in something that the police have been called for. So as a police officer, I'm requesting your name and your date of birth.
Yeah, but under what section? I don't understand. Under what section are you asking for my name and date of birth? Because I'm legally, and I don't want to go into civil law, into unlawful arrest and unlawful detention here. But if we go down that path, you know, we don't want to. I don't want to go unlawful detention, unlawful arrest, unlawful giving of my details, because that all goes.
It's not an unlawful giving of details by any stretch.
Okay, well, if you felt that I've committed a crime, then you know, or there's a section under PACE, and I know PACE very, very well.
Next voiced if is a clear case of an officer asserting control without legal grounds. Public spaces are open to all, and unless someone disrupts or obstructs, there's no lawful reason to move them on. Yet she treats the auditor's presence as suspicious, not because of any offense, but because the business dislikes it. A police officer's role is to uphold law impartially, not enforce private preference.
If you want to try and determine my name and address, I'd like to know.
I think you're just being extremely difficult and challenging, and probably quite awkward at the moment.
I'm exercising my rights.
It's just a little bit awkward when a person is obviously not just cooperating, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just trying to do my job.
I know you are, but
we've been called Because you're obviously causing some obviously
I'm not.
some.
I was going over there. You
But
just
you're
said.
not, sir. I found you just here on the pavement, okay?
In a public road.
You're up against the barrier.
Well, I'll happily go over there or over there and do my drone.
Go over there then. When you're refusing to give something as simple as a name to a police officer, obviously it comes across as quite awkward, and that's probably my personal opinion of it, okay? And it's just sometimes it can make it a lot more difficult than it needs to be. In there, they do high security goods, and that's why they're saying as a business, please don't do it, okay? But as a police officer, obviously you don't want to, go down. We don't want to be causing any further issues for you, okay? So just please respect what's been said, all right?
Thanks, officer.
Thanks.
Thank you.
By the end, the auditor stands across the road not by law, but from constant pressure. This encounter showed policing driven by business, discomfort not legislation. The officer overstated her powers, demanded ID without grounds, threatened custody, and tried to restrict lawful filming. Instead of citing law, she relied on vague claims and emotion, turning a simple visit into needless conflict. The auditor stayed firm, exposing her overreach. That's it for today's video. You enjoyed? Like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to check out Pure Audit in the description. Thanks for watching Rate the Audit. See you next time.